All right, this image is entitled The Promise. Let's check it out. You have Jesus holding a globe, the world. But notice, look closely, the world is fractured. It's sort of fallen apart, so to speak. And he's kind of got holding it together. In fact, Colossians chapter 1, it talks about the supremacy of Christ, and it says he holds all things together. God trying to hold this fractured world together. Now, when you understand the meaning of the word world, you think, well, what do you mean? I don't know what the meaning of the word world is. Well, it's used in three different ways. So let's go over those real quick. First of all, the world can be the globe itself, the earth, you know, the physical matter of the world that was created by God. Then the second thing the world can be is like a system, a way of doing things, a philosophy, the way the world operates, the ideology and philosophy of humankind. And the third thing a world can mean is the people. People. God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. God sent his son to die for people all over the world. So that's the world. Well, let's talk about this for a minute. Let's take a look at the world that we live in today. Now, as I am being filmed this morning, and this might date this piece, the following things are going on. Now, I don't know when you're watching this, but you may realize that things have even escalated from beyond where I'm describing, or they may have diminished. But nonetheless, Iran is building a nuclear weapon, seemingly unhindered. Hamas is being bombed by Israel. Hamas is bombing Israel, and Israel is trying to destroy tunnels beneath Gaza City by the hundreds. North Korea is threatening and wants to yield their nuclear power. On top of that, Syria is having a civil war where these factions are killing one another, and they've already had chemical weapons used in that conflict. Russia has annexed Crimea from Ukraine, and is now rebels backed by Russians are bombing and fighting with Ukraine, and in fact have mistakenly shot down a jet airliner, killing 298 people. Okay, that was last week. So don't tell me this globe isn't fractured, and I'm not even mentioning a number of other things going on, economically, relationally, civil wars, strife. An Ebola virus is breaking out as I am being filmed today in the area of Western Africa. So there you go. Now, what is all this about? Well, Jesus said some very key things, and if you look at Matthew chapter 24, whether you believe in the Bible or not, doesn't matter. Look at that. Go on your cell phone. Pull up Matthew 24. There's a beautiful day. Jesus is walking with his disciples in Jerusalem, and he looks up at the temple. The sun's gleaming off of it, this magnificent edifice. And he starts to say, not one stone will be left upon another. And they're looking at him like, what? That's crazy. Well, in AD 70, not one stone was left upon another, and that temple today is not standing because of the conflict with the Romans. Not one stone is left upon another, and you can go there today, and that's the fact. Then he said, in the future there'll be wars and rumors of wars. Nation will rise up against nation, and kingdom will rise up against kingdom. There will be famines, pestilence, there'll be earthquakes, and the love of most will grow cold. All right, that's the world we live in. Now, what he's describing is what he calls the last days. And the last days are the amount of time that we have on this earth and this world and this life as which we know it is coming to an end. And the world is shaking and being shaken and cracking because of strife, because of sin, because of evil, a number of things taking place. God's trying to hold that world together. In the meantime, you and I are trying to figure out how come there's not anything better than what we got here? If God's in charge, why is there so much evil? Well, God is in charge, and he allowed mankind to make choices regarding evil, and mankind made the wrong choices, and now we're living out the consequences of that strife. In the middle of it all, he makes a promise, which is the title of this photograph. He promises a new heaven and a new earth wherein dwells righteousness. God is going to take us from the paradise he started us with. He will redeem us back to a new paradise. And you can tell by looking at this world, it's falling apart, isn't it? Well, it's going to get worse and worse and worse until the end comes. You've seen the movies, all the Last Days movies, you've seen them. You know, that's no joke, that's coming to pass. That's what Christ said would happen, and that is what's happening. So anyway, as you evaluate all of that, put yourself in this whole dilemma Where are you with this Christ who seeks to hold your life together when your life has fallen apart and broken? Remember, his body was broken so you could be made whole. And he died for this entire world, the system, the philosophy, the ideology, the people. But eventually that earth that we stand on and we're rotating on right now will no longer be. You can bank on that, because if it wasn't so, he would have told us. There is a promise of a new heaven, a new earth. I hope you're there. Therein lies the promise.